Welcome, Mr. Denome, and welcome to this market update of June 6th, 2023. So I wanted to make this video for a couple of reasons. First off, we did hit the price that I've been talking about in the videos and in the Telegram announcements and on Twitter as well. So we basically hit $25,400, and that is the neckline of this support here. So as you can see, this is a major strong support line. So if you're looking to buy Bitcoin, I think this may be a great opportunity here. It doesn't mean that it will hold, but I think it's a great opportunity. And if we go lower, then we have another great opportunity to buy cheap Bitcoin again. But for now, I think this trend line will hold, but it doesn't necessarily hold. And there's a couple other things that I want to show about this chart later on. But let's talk about the catalyst, what caused this massive 6% drop. So it was only 6%, but people are, of course, exaggerating and overreacting to this. So let's talk about it. So Binance got sued by the SEC. And SEC is the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. And I think there were 13 offenses in total that SEC is alleging Binance has done something wrong. And in the lawsuit, they mentioned 61 cryptocurrencies as examples of securities that were being traded on Binance. So what this basically means for a layperson is that if the SEC gets this through and all these cryptocurrencies are deemed as securities, it means that every exchange in USA has to basically stop trading those assets on their platform or allowing retail investors to trade those assets. So you have to be a registered investor or have certain amounts of capital for you to be able to trade cryptocurrencies. Something like that. I'm not 100% familiar with the matter, but basically this lawsuit has to go to the end before anything basically happens. So a year to something like that. And personally, I'm not too worried. Bitcoin was not mentioned in this lawsuit. Ethereum was not mentioned in this lawsuit. There were a couple coins out there that I have invested as well, like Matic, Atom, and a bunch of other ones, BNB, BUSD. Some gaming tokens as well are mentioned here, and just a bunch of other crypto or altcoins actually. So those are deemed as a security by the SEC, but it again doesn't mean that they are securities, because again there has to be a bunch of lawsuits, and I think each of them, or at least the XRP case, has to go through. So let's remind what that is. So basically for a year now, XRP has been in a back and forth with the SEC, claiming it's not a security or claiming it's a security. And even though this lawsuit is going on, if we take a look at the XRP price, it has actually been climbing upwards a little bit. So even though there's this SEC FUD or SEC like fear, it doesn't mean that the price will go to gutter or the trading stops. This is only about the USA. And with Binance, this is only considering the Binance US, which basically did not have a lot of trading volume to begin with. But if this starts to affect other exchanges in USA, then it will have an impact, because if not as many people can trade these assets, it of course means that the liquidity will exit that area. So there's a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty around it, a lot of speculation, but I think many people are just overreacting. If we take a look at the XRP case here, and just because the price was only 6% drop after this news, because this is basically the worst news that we could see. Of course, many people were anticipating it as well, but it was only 6%. And now we're at the major support. So I think we need another big news for us to actually go lower. And I have no idea what the big news could be. Maybe it's coming around the corner and I have to eat my words. But for now, if this is all they got and this did not break the support line, I think that's a good sign in my opinion. So that's just my thinking. But now let's talk about also a little bit deeper on this lawsuit as well. So Timothy Peterson, I don't know him. I was just looking if anyone had any ideas. I don't know if these are correct ideas, but these are just some viewpoints for you to consider for yourself if you think this is absolute disaster and everything is going to go to the gutter. Oh, what do you think? But he had some interesting insights. First off, all SEC enforcement actions are civil, not criminal. So this means that they will get to sue for fines, and they can order the judge to stop breaking the law. So no jail, no SWATs, no raids. So basically everybody gets to walk free, everything continues, and there's probably going to be a settlement. That's the first thing. The second thing, which I thought was quite interesting, let me actually read through this, because I only read the first one. That was the most important one here. Binance has minimal presence in the US. Yeah, that I already said, that the US investors are hardly impacted, or actually people outside US are hardly impacted, because this only affects for the Binance US for now. Practically no way of enforcing any ruling outside the US. To win its case, SEC must prove that certain tokens are in fact securities. This means definitions, etc., in a way of supporting by a preponderance of the evidence. Not sure what that means. Worst outcome is that SEC wins and there is a court-approved template for applying securities laws to crypto. Opens path going forward. Again, just one more piece of viewpoint, or another viewpoint for this is an interesting one that I saw, is that SEC is playing time here. So they don't care if they win or lose this lawsuit. What they just basically want is to create fear and doubt in the market and keep the regulations unclear. Because when the regulations are actually clear, it means that the institutions can finally start investing in altcoins and in upcoming projects with confidence. But for now, because everything is unclear, we don't know if they are securities, if they are not securities, if they can if banks can offer cryptos as investments, or what's gonna happen. So many people or investors are actually on the sidelines waiting for some regulation, some clarity. So SEC doesn't want to give that clarity, because once there's clarity, it means that banks and investors and institutions can use these assets as they basically want, or as the regulations allow. But as long as it's unclear, they will not use them. And that gives room for the CBDCs, for the central bank digital currencies, to be implemented, the Fed Now program. And when the CBDCs or the Fed Now has been implemented, they will give clear regulation around it, and they want banks and institutions to use the CBDC platform. And when it already has wide adoption, then they will drop the regulation, like, hey, here you go, here's the crypto regulation. And then of course it's going to make it difficult and annoying for institutions to use it, and they just wish that because they are already using the CBDC platform, that they will not use crypto as an alternative way of transacting with institutions and people. So I thought that was an interesting viewpoint. So basically SEC is just paying time here, and the outcome is that eventually Binance will just pay fines and life will continue. So that's one way of thinking about it as well. But all in all, Bitcoin here is not really affected. It's just the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that caused this drop. But Bitcoin is fine. It's the other altcoins that may have some issues. If they even have issues, we don't know. The XRP situation has not cleared yet. Another piece of news, by the way, if you want to make a deep dive into this, Altcoin Daily made a very good video, 9 minutes, basically explaining the whole situation here, explaining the so you may want to look at this one. I will link this in the description box as well. And just fundamentally, if we take a look at it, Ethereum staking is still climbing very, very rapidly. More Bitcoin is being withdrawn from exchanges. And all in all, it doesn't look like a catastrophe in my opinion. So that's why I'm just betting for the supporting line to actually hold. Then if we draw just a couple more lines, you will see something interesting here as well. First off, the next area of interest would be about $24,000. So as long as this trend line basically holds, that's still fine. If this trend line does not hold, then it's about $20,000 and so on and so forth. But for now, I do hope that this does hold, and I'm betting it will. Another interesting one is if we actually take a look at, we draw a trend line from here. You can see that we're following this pattern. Some people call this like a bull flag. You can call it whatever you want, but there's an interesting thing here, because if we stretch this trend line, you can see exactly that we have touched the top here, the peak here, kind of the peak here as well, and then we are touching all of the peaks here as well with this trend line. So we're coming to a confliction point here. So once we actually do break out of this to the upside or to the downside, I think that's gonna be a big move anyway. So these lines are very, very important going into the next month and to the about 5 weeks from now. Gonna be an interesting time. So we'll see what happens. Personally, I'm optimistic. I think it needs more bad news for the price to actually start falling. For altcoins, they may be bleeding, but because there's much more uncertainty about it, I think some liquidity will flow towards Bitcoin as people are safeguarding their altcoin gains. Basically, if they have too much exposure to altcoins, they may sell altcoins towards Bitcoin. So altcoins may bleed, but I think Bitcoin will be fine here. But again, this does not mean that it will be fine, but it may be fine. This is just my opinion, and it's up to you what you want to do with your money and your crypto. And finally, I also want to point out that I already made an announcement for this in all of my channels, but Atomic Wallet got hacked a couple days earlier. So if you have Atomic Wallet and you have funds there, check it out. If you have funds there, I would withdraw away from Atomic Wallet. About 1% of the users have lost their crypto. So there was a hack, and we currently don't know exactly what the hack was. So what I did, I had money on Atomic Wallet. I created a new wallet. You can use like a hot wallet like Trust Wallet or Exodus Wallet or some other wallet out there. Or you can use a hardware wallet or whatever wallet you want, but I would take my money out of the Atomic Wallet and create new keys, new private keys. So I would not reuse the old keys because they link to your Atomic Wallet already. So anyway, that happened, and it's another one of those fuck why am I in crypto moments, but it's part of the game and we just have to live with it. This is crypto. If you are scared having too much money in crypto, consider other assets as well. That's also what I've been doing on the sidelines, mostly interested in natural gas. But anyway, that's it for the update, and I will make another one when something interesting happens or these lines get broken. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.